people that may or may not join us today with various life messages for our Unity Church and our Universal Life Church, but we're going to hopefully grow our members, and even the Edgar Casey teachings, all those people are welcome as well. Any metaphysician that wants to join us. And historically, we work together, we share movies, we share education, we share entertainment, we work with pop culture, and we hopefully don't drink, don't smoke, don't do anything to hurt our bodies, but basically we just say the main message from our church with Universal Life Ministries is do what is right. But that's up to each individual. But without further ado, I am now going to turn the show over to Tommy to discuss what he stayed up doing for his message on the video, and hopefully he'll touch on some of these definitions. So, Tommy, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and take over. That was my first 15 minutes, and I guess the hour and 45 minutes is yours, unless we have people call in. So I'm going to get Tommy, can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, well, you're live and on the air. Yeah, go ahead, and I'm going to mute, but I'm right here listening, okay? And I'll watch the board. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, TJ. It's always a pleasure. All right, the first thing I want to say, in this life where we all are right now, we have opinions, we have ideas, we have programmed ideas which we receive from everybody around us. It's your place in your life to scratch through them, clear them apart, tear them apart, find the truth within everything you think you learn or know. Because there's always a truth somewhere behind things, and it's up to you to dig it out and pull it out of that. Because parents don't know what's right for another person. Children don't know what's right for other children. So schooling doesn't teach us anything important about life. So we're in a scenario where we're being constantly programmed with everything other than something that's important to us as a spiritual awareness. And I will try to explain that. Now, before I get into too much about it, the word spiritual is being overused, and I say it's being abused by a lot of people, because you have to have a definition. And you ask the average person what the definition of spiritual is, and you can't get an answer. Ask yourself, what does it mean to you? And well, that'll be your definition of it. But see, when you go into a dictionary, it'll relate it to another word. But it's its own word, it's its own feeling, emotion, thought, and energy. But to tune into that, you have to be in a higher awareness. And I'm not saying rising to 6th, 7th dimensional beings or nothing like that. Just that in our reality, who we are, we have, sorry about that, my computer was playing a game, but we have the mind, which runs the body, and then we have soul that lives within the body. And there's a big difference there. Now, I'm not going to separate what you believe in. It's up to you to learn the difference if you want to, because Buddhism has one belief on it, Christianity has another, atheists have another, and people in certain paths are a way they think is much different than other people's. For me, I can only tell you by direct experience over and over again of being involved with it on a spiritual quest all my life. And I'm talking from basically I became aware at 6 years old. And from then on, it was always a quest for truth, what God is, what life is, and what death is. I know most people don't like to talk about death. And I want to get into that because all these little things help you find where you need to put your feet on this ground when you start walking forward. You can always walk backwards. It doesn't take that much talent to walk backwards, but it takes a lot more ability to walk forward in a spiritual path or in an aware state, and then living by that state that you attain by moving into it. There's many paths that teach you sidetracks. I mean, when you add sex into it, or like, I mean, when we get into, I want to get into all those things little by little, but like ghost busting and spirits and demons and all those other words, they're all part of your awareness. If you're not aware of any of that, you're missing most of your awareness of what soul really is and how it functions and how it functions within the reality that it dwells. All right, soul doesn't always dwell here. And when you go to sleep, the soul leaves the body and it goes into the astral plane sometimes. Not all the time, but it can, and it does. And it's so hard for the mind to understand that. So when a person comes back, it usually gets transformed into something else. So, I mean, I'm going to go into a bunch of things that all help you grow, or help you grow if you want to. Like when you have dreams, they translate them. You can actually work on your dreams. It took me a couple of years to at least get some knowledge of them, what they mean, what warnings they offer you, what truth they offer you, and then how to go from a dream state to the lucid dreaming state and become aware of actual experiences from past lives. And not saying they don't interfere with each other, because when you're dreaming, it could take parts of your past lives and throw it in with what you're dreaming about. And then it just confuses you in your dream. So for me, after years of work, I mean, I learned to go in and out of dreams, stop them, go back in it, make it better, change it if I don't like it, or take it to a higher level and then experience something different. So they're all useful tools, but I do like to try to get into them for each person where they are. I mean, everybody's at a different level. I don't think one person on this planet is actually vibrating at the same frequency, same sound. We all have a sound, and that sound is actually our spiritual name. And you can find that too. All these techniques, I mean, I studied with all different kinds of teachers, masters, deities as well. So it's not just coming from one person. It's not coming from a book, and it's not coming from planet Earth, a lot of it, or the physical reality. So I can tell you, I'm 67. I'll be 68 in 2 months. But, you know, it was constant work. Spiritual growth is probably the hardest path you can take if you want to attain it. Now, there is a reason why you would want to attain it. Millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires. Well, we don't have a trillionaire yet. But these multi-billionaires, they don't put their attention on that in most cases. And if they do, they wouldn't be a multi-billionaire. So, and, you know, I don't want to get into those details right now. And you'll understand it as we move forward through this. But the groundwork has to be laid out, because you can't just go somewhere without even knowing why, what's going to happen and everything else before you do it. If you're going to get in a boat, you want to know what a boat does. It goes on the water. How fast does it move? What drives it? What pushes it? How, and all the conditions around it. You just don't jump on a boat, go out into the middle of the ocean and say, hey, now what do I do? Where do I go? How do I get anywhere from here? Well, there's a compass. There's a Lorraine, and they help you find your way. So there's things you need. I call them tools, if you want to call them tools. Becoming aware of abilities. There's different words that you can use. I hope I'm back. My computer's playing games. I don't know what's going on. But, okay, here's the thing. I started when I was 6, and it wasn't a voluntary thing. It wasn't like, say, well, I'm going to start a spiritual quest. You don't know what's going on when you're little. You know what the effects and what's going on in your little reality that you have. I mean, you don't leave your house too much when you're real little. And the effects of the energy that comes into the house, which people don't talk about, parents don't talk about. All these things help you become aware of who and what you are. Children can see the light. Children can hear the sound. Children can see angels, beings, as well as demons. They're not protected from that, and they're definitely more open to perceive it or recognize it. And each thing is important because later on when you leave your body, you need to see your angels or guides, learn how to trust them, understand, make sure that they're real or good or in the right kind of a being to be next to, that you're going to put your life or your soul into their hands. And you always have to be aware wherever you go, no matter what you do. Even in this physical reality, you can give all your heart and love and compassion to a person, and they could totally abuse it on you, or twist it, or take it, whatever. This isn't the end for soul at all. It's only the beginning for soul's awareness. And here's a statement I have to make now, because you might not accept it later on, and if you don't, it's going to be pretty hard to follow everything I tell you. soul, only purpose. It only has one purpose, is to find out what it is. All right. People say, well, to get a job, to get a home, to have a family, to buy a car, and all those things. They're just toys, for a word. I'm not even going to say tools, because those tools don't help you explore the worlds and realms when you leave this physical reality. All right. So when you say, well, what's my true purpose here? It's a simple answer, and nobody wants to hear it. They want to hear, well, they're here to change the world, to save mankind, to save animals, to save whatever. No, each entity within itself has its own direct mission to find out what it is. Even animals are learning. I was just going through something this morning and last night about little creatures, ants, bugs, and things like that, frogs, and what do they believe, what do they learn? And I came to an awareness, and this is interesting. You know, male and female, in reality, I think men think women are prettier or beautiful. In a fish world, it's always the men that are pretty, not the female. In the bird kingdom, it's always the male that's pretty, not the female. So, in their awareness, they have to be able to recognize that. So what I'm saying is, what we don't even know about animals and creatures, they have an awareness, and it's probably a lot more than mankind gives them. Well, I mean, when a peacock spreads its wings to attract, I mean, there has to be an awareness that they have that goes beyond, well, they just eat and die. They don't understand. When animals take care of each other and things like all that awareness, it's different than ours. It's inherited awareness. When they're born, they're given certain awareness. I mean, the same as a child. But, you know, if you take a child born, put them out in the wilderness, how long do you think they can live? And a lot of animals can live by themselves without the help, but some of them need their mother. But if they weren't given any help, what does a child become? Can it even eat? So these things that are passed down, and I mean, I don't want to go against a complete theory that I worked on for a long period of time, realizing it was a fallacy. You heard of the story of the 100th monkey. Well, I'll tell you, it might have been right at the time during their experience or experiment. But in reality, if we learned from our experiences and it transforms the whole reality, we wouldn't be going through the same experiences. Every lifetime you come back, you're going to stick your hand in fire. Why is that? Because you didn't learn the first time. So to say you learn in time, you have your whole life to learn that fire is hot. And then when you reincarnate and come back here, you're still going to stick your hand in fire to see that it's hot and burn. So it's not like that awareness grows and completely becomes reality for the next generation of souls. So when they say 1 million monkeys or even 1,000 monkeys attained awareness, it affected all monkeys. It really doesn't. So, with that, okay, I'm trying to build your foundation, which you need to take your first step. When we talk about religion, all right, do you have a religion? If not, that's okay. Do you consider yourself spiritual? You can tell yourself whatever you want. That's okay too. But we're going to start being from a place of being soul, S-O-U-L, a soul. We each are one. We're our own. We're not connected to any other soul. This is an experience and experiences and work that I spent my whole life doing, working out and figuring out and proving, which combined with all my other lifetimes back to Atlantis. So it's not like I just put one piece of the puzzle together. I have a lot of, I'd say most of the pieces of the puzzle. And I still can't find a piece that I don't have to my puzzle. So including why I'm here and why I'm leaving. But that takes time and it takes lifetimes. Nobody attains that in one lifetime. They might say they will. I mean, I can go into names and people that say, well, I'm aware, I'm completely aware and all this and all that. But you know how you can tell? Ask them what God is. Ask them what spiritual means. 2 little words. One's a little bigger than the other. But what do they really mean? Now, I know most people, I don't care what they're talking about, still have no understanding of a real God. And what I mean by a real God is what it truly is.